Nut Nerd Podcast, episode 273, A Half Step Behind.
Welcome to the Nut Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
I'm here, as always, as you say, and I'm glad I'm here.
Yes.
Glad we were able to tech better together, Nate.
Yes, as we often do, and then we get together once a week to share that with the world, both via audio podcast and our YouTube channel with our video feed that you can check out. If you have not done that, we do appreciate all the views we're getting over there, some comments, some likes, some subscribes, all that good stuff.
And I wanted to say, I've figured out why YouTube wants everybody to always say, you got to smash that like button, you got to subscribe, you got to turn on all the notification bells and everything. You know why that is? Is because they go out of their way to make sure that at the end of a video, it starts into a new video. Like I'm constantly turning off autoplay.
Yeah.
The reason they want you to like and subscribe is because before you know it, the video's gone. And you won't have the opportunity to do it. So it's all Google's master plan to get you to watch more content. So anyway, I had that epiphany the other day.
Yes, they want to keep you on their network, watching as many videos as possible. So hopefully some of that engagement is our channel.
Yeah, hopefully.
Let's move into some follow-up. So I saw an interesting article, and we've talked about this several times. Apple acquires a lot of companies, and the headline of this article from the BBC says, Apple buys a company every 3 to 4 weeks.
That's incredible.
Yes. Apple has acquired about 100 companies over the last 6 years, Tim Cook revealed, and it's just... I mean, there's some of the bigger ones like Shazam, or, the ones that we've talked about, Beats, but a lot of smaller companies too. They see some technology they like. They have a ton of money in the bank, and so they just buy the company and usually incorporate the people in and make more great stuff.
Yeah, it's funny, in the news when Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. Everybody's like, you're overpaying. That's like way more than the company is valued. But when you have you have more money than God has, sometimes it's in your best interest to just buy the competition, Yeah. So
it just makes sense. The Facebook news ban in Australia that we discussed, was that just last week? Oh, where does the time go? But it worked to slow down the new law. So they've come to an agreement with the Australian government to look at this new law that was going to have Facebook pay people who provide news and this whole thing. So, they pulled the trigger and called their bluff. And so now there's going to be some more changes in that and get it narrowed in, and all the bigwigs will figure out how the money gets split up, and maybe you'll have a good Facebook experience in Australia.
We'll see. The jury is still out on that.
Yes. And I think we talked about this, but I saw another story this week about watching chess live streaming. I think we talked about this a while back.
Yeah.
But chess.com is the place to go for all your chess needs, and Twitch users watched 18.3 million hours of chess content in January, nearly as much as they consumed throughout 2019. So 18.3 million hours of chess has been streamed on Twitch.
It's very interesting to me. However, I wonder if some of this recent news about chess has to do with Netflix show The Queen's Gambit, which was pretty good. So maybe it reignited some chess competition.
I have heard that buzz. So and now you've got these chess celebrities that are, streaming and doing all the stuff that streamers do and putting all the work in, and people are watching it. Now, I enjoy chess. I do not have the brain power to take it seriously. I can play it, but I cannot play it well. But a lot of people do.
Yeah, I can usually go about a half move ahead is what I see in my
Yes.
mind. It's about a half a move.
I'm about a half
So,
move behind is how my brain works when it comes to chess.
yeah.
Oh, man. Well, always 2 moves ahead is Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Well, this week I thought we would talk about something that we've talked about before, but it came into play for my family here recently, so I thought I'd talk about it. Now, we all know and love Apple's family sharing. If you're on an iOS device and you don't have family sharing turned on for your family, you should, because you can take advantage of many different things. One being if you're paying for storage on iCloud, you can spread that across your family members and they can all enjoy the same extra storage. You can share each other's applications. Sorry, I was having a brain fart there for a minute. Share each other's applications. So if I purchase an application on my account, my kids can download it from that account as long as they're part of the family plan. There are advantages for like sharing contacts and calendars and those type of things as well. One of the things though that you may have used this a lot in the past. If you have an Apple Watch, you can flick it up and say find my phone and it'll ding your phone so that you can find it if it fell on the couch cushion, or of course you can use another device that's tied to your iCloud like an iPad or a computer to do the same thing. But dear listener, dear viewer, dear watcher, a dear stalker, that's a
Yes.
type of hat, I think. Have you ever had a spouse or a child who has lost their device and are like, I don't know how to do it. Can you just call me or something like that? Well, I mean, what are we, cavemen? We're just going to
Yes.
call each other when we lose a device? No, 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 no. You go into your phone, if you're on an iPhone, and you open up the Find My application. And like I said, the family sharing has to be enabled. But when it does, not only can you find other people who are out and about, which is useful if you have kids, but there's a section one over from that that says devices. And you see a list of all of your family members' devices. And for example, my daughter could not find her phone. I had it in my room 5 seconds ago. I set it somewhere.
Yes.
I do that all the time. They're black rectangles and in low light. I mean, you're in trouble if you set it anywhere. So I said, no worries. I just pulled up my phone, opened the app, went to devices, found her phone and clicked ding. And a few seconds later, the sound emanated from it and we were able to find it. So if you've used Find My Device by yourself and enjoy it, how much more are you going to enjoy it when you use it with your spouse or your kids or other friends and family members that are part of your iCloud family? So Nate, have you ever used Find My Device for another person's device?
Yes, indeed. With
I
a
see you.
4.5-year-old in the house,
Yeah.
this has come up more often than it used to. So yes, there will be. I no clue where it is, so just do that. Have it ping, and it's really convenient to be able to do that, to find your devices and have more ways to find your device instead of firing up your computer like you were saying, or if you don't have an Apple Watch. But yeah, it is extremely helpful, and along with the other family sharing options that you mentioned as well. Well, very cool. Now, Dave, I don't remember, we're going to move on to our takes, if you have a robot vacuum cleaner or not.
I do not. I want to get one. We're going to be redoing the floors in our lower level here, and maybe when that's completed, we'll delve into
Yes.
a robot vacuum. But for now, no. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how my cat reacts to it when we do get one eventually.
Yes. Well, we do have, I believe it's a Eufy brand that we've mentioned some of their other products, and it was probably a pick of the week. That is a very cheap one, but some Roombas, the number one name in robot vacuums, users have reported their robotic helpers acting drunk. So there was a software update that caused them to start just kind of zigzagging or spinning around in a circle. And sadly, they have announced that it might take a couple weeks to get a new software update out for the Roomba. And, the Roombas are not cheap. You're looking, I think, at least $300 maybe for their low-end model, and it goes up from there. I think our Eufy one was around $100, if not cheaper. But ours works perfectly fine. We do not have a large home. We do not have a large dog. So we don't need a real workhorse in this department. But yeah, if you have a Roomba and it's acting, the Verge article says several times, acting drunk is how this issue is being reported. So if you
bumping
notice
into
that,
furniture,
yeah,
saying abusive things, and then turning around and saying it loves you, all those
just
all those
puking
things.
out the stuff that it's vacuuming up.
Telling everyone they're their best friend. Yeah, stuff
yes,
like that.
yeah, all that typical stuff. But if you've noticed something weird, there's a reason, and there will hopefully be a software update coming sooner than later on that.
Good.
Some sad news this week. I don't think we mentioned this last week, that Fry's Electronics has shut down.
Now, is this sad news?
Well, yes.
I mean, this is kind of like you have a dear loved one who is past the age of 98, who's been on a ventilator for 6 to 12 months, and who's in incredible pain. And when they finally pass, is that really sad news, or is it kind of good news? So I Fry's in this example is the elderly friend or parent. They've just been languishing on for years and years and years.
Yes.
And I made a joke to somebody, maybe it was even you, about how they finally had to turn that one last light bulb off.
Yeah.
Because every time I go into the store, I'm just like, what are there lights in this place?
I know. It's
it was like
so
a dark alley. It's crazy.
Yeah, and people that aren't familiar don't have them in your area. They're mostly in California. We do, or did have one just down the road from us in Wilsonville, Oregon. But these were electronics mega stores. Now, in their heyday, you could go there and find anything related to electronics. You could get any piece for your computer. You could get anything electronics related. It was just a nerd's paradise. I was actually talking to a friend. He said, yeah, I'd like to go in. I would go in there every once in a while just to see what, Dungeons and Dragons players are up to these days, because the employees were classically very nerdy. But interestingly enough, just about a month ago, I needed RAM for a computer, and Amazon, I couldn't really find the right thing, and it was going to take a while. And I was like, well, you know what? I'll just go to Fry's. That's the place I go. If I need a specific part, they always have it. Well, I went to Fry's, and I was like, is this place still open? I mean, they had a quarter of this ginormous store completely like walled off. The shelves were half empty.
They just kept shrinking stuff down.
Yeah, they didn't have, you couldn't buy a computer. They maybe had a couple printers, and so I go over, they had this magical RAM board where they had little price tag things for every kind of RAM you ever needed. And I walk over there, they had maybe 7 types of RAM on the wall. So they did not have what I needed. A couple other things I needed, they didn't have. So luckily, I got to go one more time. But the nostalgia, and the ones in California, from I've heard people discuss, they were kind of themed, like an Aztec theme or a space theme. The one here in Oregon, which was originally Incredible Universe, it didn't really have a theme besides darkness and dreariness. But while I was there last month, I was talking to another guy, and we were kind of chatting about, hey, we can't find anything. He goes, man, it had been a while since I've been in here, and this is just depressing. And I was like, yes. There was like 2 employees in the store. It was, they finally pulled the plug. They blamed both the pandemic and change in retail, which means Amazon rules everything. So
they missed their opportunity to pivot. They were way too late to get online to where you could purchase stuff online. And once they were online, it was an incredibly terrible experience to try to find the product, to check out, to get it shipped to you, or to pick it up. I mean, they made it as hard as possible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. They're, even in their heyday, for me, it was like, if if you had 3 kids and one had suicidal tendencies, you never would want to send them to Fry's because they walk in the door and it's dark and dreary and confusing.
Yeah.
It's like you're not doing that person any help by sending them there. So there were a lot of things from customer service to the store's look and feel to online that they just missed the boat.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see him go, but it's not a surprise at all.
Yeah. At the same time, it's one of those things. Yeah, I would go there once or twice a year if I needed something specific and I couldn't get it quick enough on Amazon. That is not a good business model to be known as that, because I've talked to a couple other people that said the same thing. It's like, yeah, I'd go there every once in a while. But if you do click the link in the show notes, they did put the Verge article has some different Twitter posts from different people, kind of with some pictures of the different theme stores. And
yeah, they look cool in California.
Yeah, they got the cool ones. But now there's if you're looking for large retail space, there will be some available from Fry's. They'll probably turn into Amazon distribution centers.
Probably. And if you still need an electronics store that's local, you can go to Best Buy, which is practically the last one around. And then, of course, big box stores like Walmart and Target sometimes will have what you need, but typically not.
Yes, and speaking of Best Buy, they announced this week that they are laying off 5,000 workers and will close more stores. So maybe that won't hold true. Your local Best Buy might close.
Yeah, I saw the headline when I was looking at this earlier, and I'm not sure why. That our local Best Buy seems to be doing very well. There's always customers in the store. It seems the lights are turned on to where you can see stuff.
Yes, very bright.
Very bright. So you know that they have at least enough money to pay the electricity bill. But yeah, this really surprised me. But at the same time, as if they're going more online, you need fewer retail employees. So this seems to make sense.
Yes, there's a paragraph in this CNN business article that says CEO Corey Berry told analysts Thursday that starting earlier this month, Best Buy had been adjusting the mix of full-time and part-time employees in stores due to having too many full-time and not enough part-time employees. As a result of this reorganization, Best Buy laid off 5,000 employees, the majority of whom worked full-time. It also said it is adding approximately 2,000 new part-time positions. Best Buy has around 102,000 employees. That's a lot of employees.
Yeah, so this screams to me, we don't have enough money to pay benefits.
Yes.
So we need to convert a lot of our full-time workers to part-time workers.
Yes.
So we can save billions.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's a good thing that healthcare in this country is
rock
top
solid.
notch.
Nothing to worry about there.
Nothing.
Yeah. The company said that it closed 20 of its big box stores in each of the past 2 years and expects to close a higher number this year. Best Buy has 450 store leases coming up for renewal in the next 3 years. So, rent is not cheap, and when you can do things online and when you don't need as many employees because you can just do the curbside pickup and that kind of thing. I actually bought a deep freezer that they just brought it out to my car, loaded it up, and so very interesting. I did see too, I didn't have a link in the show notes, but Target, because Best Buy has had their little Apple store within a Best Buy.
Yeah.
And Target is now implementing some of that. So Best Buy won't have that edge either. So retail, it is not an industry that I would like to be in anytime soon.
Well, you talked about picking up or going to the store and having them bring the thing out to you, the curbside pickup. And, I find myself doing this at Best Buy if I'm just picking up a video game. Like I'll usually buy something online and they have it at the store and I go the next day and pick it up. So something as simple as that, or I've really enjoyed doing it locally here with Domino's when we get a pizza or something. I want to sit in my car and have them bring it to me. Part of it is because I'm incredibly lazy. That is part of it.
Yes.
But it also, from an infrastructure standpoint, when I'm in my car at Domino's, there's 5 schlubs sitting in this very small area.
Yeah.
One of them hanging by the door with the door open in wintertime. Another one on the sidewalk. And it's just like, we're doing something wrong here.
Yes.
This is why we almost lost millions of more people from the coronavirus or the flu or whatever else, is because we just do dumb stuff like cram ourselves into small spaces like cattle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's wrong with sitting in my car? And
Yeah.
the person just brings it out. I mean, it's easier for them typically because they're not having customers breathing down their neck. It's easier for me because I can listen to my podcast and so I like this evolution. Now, this is not for everybody. And this pivot towards more online stuff can be frightening. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I got the Oculus Quest 2 headset.
Yes.
And I was in one of these virtual environments the other day, and you could just go to these different places, and there's like somebody doing a concert, or you could pick hats out at this store, or you could do whatever. It's just a weird kind of mall type area. And these two guys who were together came over to me, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And they just started talking to me. And I'm just like, this is kind of weird. Like, I'm not really on here to be social,
Yes.
but I didn't turn any of this stuff off. So I was kind of stuck talking to these strangers. But at the same time, it's maybe that's the future. Maybe, maybe we're all have to get comfortable just sharing thoughts with random people online. And I don't know. It's a brave new world.
It is. It is. Well, our bonus odd take of the week is a interesting website that I saw a couple places. It is Radio.garden is the website you go to. So they use that all crucial .garden top level domain name.
They're so ridiculous.
Yes.
There's just everything.
But this is a global map, and you can go listen to radio stations everywhere. Oh, and their KCMB in Baker City, Oregon started playing as I visited the website. I was looking around on this some more, and we've had some similar things to this where, kind of this global perspective, but there's these little green dots and a globe that you can, click your mouse and spin around, or do it on your phone. And I'm going to turn the volume down. Holiday Radio 95.7 in Marina, Greece, and it's actually 95.7 in Greece, not the point.
Oh, interesting.
But just a really interesting little thing if you want to get a global perspective on what's going on.
There are a lot of radio stations, and for those of you who are using, I got to turn mine down too. For those of you who are using the Brave browser, please note that it probably won't work. Mine had the things that it's blocking was just going 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
I did have that too.
Yeah, it's constantly blocking stuff. So I just opened up my Safari browser. Very interesting, but yeah, this is if you like terrestrial radio, which there's a lot to like about it still. If you want to be in the current new, you can always find this stuff online at the website of the radio station or whatever. There's aggregation sites, but this one is cool because it's this giant globe that you can look at. Very neat.
Yellowknife, Canada, CIVR Radio Taiga FM 103.5. You just kind of drag and it picks the nearest station. And I'm not even going to attempt that city name in Iceland. We might get censored for that. That's but yeah, just a cool little website that somebody put together and found all these live streams. And sometimes when you go to the websites too, they're like trying to get you to sign up and sign in and do this. So this is all free stations that you can tune into and check out.
You know what this reminds me of is for a period of time I had a shortwave radio, and shortwave goes all around the planet. So you can pick up stations from Cairo, you can pick up England, wherever you're tuning into. And so I just stopped on one. I wanted to see what was in the Sahara Desert. And we've got Radio Elizi in Algeria. So there's like a sea of nothing and then one dot in the middle. So very, very interesting. It's very much like having a shortwave radio.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's I need to spend some more time checking out the radio of the world. So, again, that's radio.garden. You know what else you should check out? Our picks of the week.
Well, it's not a radio, but it does help me keep track of my garden. Oh. And, of course, what I'm referring to is yet another Wyze product.
Yes.
And this is sorry, I got to move the radio garden out of my way so I can see my camera. So this is the Wyze Cam. You're like, well, Dave, you've talked about the Wyze Cam multiple times on this show, and you're correct, I have. But this is the version 3, And I think I shared with everyone that I purchased this from you last week or a couple weeks ago, and I was concerned that I didn't pay you and all that stuff. Well, I've had sufficient time now to test it out, and I will let you know that this product is the one to get. This is not the wireless one, but it is an indoor outdoor. It's hardened against the weather, and the above the fold story here is the low light fidelity of this is incredible. So like in my backyard, I don't have any lights back there. There's a little bit of spillover from the neighbors that shines in, or maybe if the moon's shining or whatever, or from the window in our house. But typically it is just dark back there. And version 1 of the Wyze Cam just wasn't getting it done. And then I think version 2 is at the Wyze Cam Pan and Scan. Oh, yeah. Actually, I think I had version 2. 1 was like a long time ago. Yeah. Then version 2 is the regular square one. And then this is 3. Well, comparing 2 to 3 is just not even close. Wow. I can turn the camera on, look at my feed in the middle of the night, and see my backyard as clear as day. It's incredible, honestly. So I enjoy it. And I'll probably be talking more about Wyze products in the future, because I'm really desperately trying to get on the list to purchase their doorbell. Oh, yeah. But they're sold out and back ordered. But I'm sure that'll be a pick of the week in the future. But today, it's the indoor-outdoor Wyze Cam version 3. It's awesome. You want a little camera to put in your house or in your backyard, this is the one to get.
Yes, and Wyze, if you are somebody from Wyze, if you're listening to the podcast, we've given you enough free advertising. It's time to kick in and pay. But they have great products at a really great price point. So we're really enjoying it. And yes, we will have more of their products in the future. Well, my pick of the week this week is also kind of an upgrade or new version product, coincidentally. I was looking back, and it was almost exactly a year ago that I talked about the InCharge 6 cable. And today I am talking about the InCharge X cable. Now, they have a long version and then the keychain version, and they call this the 100-watt Swiss Army knife of cables. Now, this one, the actual cord is, about an inch and a half long, and it's a very strong braided thing. That's one of the upgrades over the older one, is they made them a lot sturdier. And also now it handles 100-watt charging, which my laptop does. And it came in a pinch. That's why I'm picking it today. I was DJing down at the bar on Friday night and did not have my correct power cable in my bag. No. So I did have a power supply, and I got this off my keychain. So it's got a real strong magnet that kind of holds it together in a little cap. But if you can see the end of it, Dave, I gifted you one of these, and you noticed on the USB type A, they have a green thing. You'll see like a black or a white or a blue piece of plastic in there. This one's bright green, which I don't know what good that does, but it's cool.
So you can find it easier in the dark, maybe?
So on one end of the cable, you have traditional USB A, and you're going, and then you see lightning on the other end. You're like, that's it? Well, if you pull it off, then you have USB-C here. So you can use this on your charging side. And then on this side, the lightning, on the last cable, we tried to figure this out, and I've used it several times. The lightning connection is also USB micro. It's amazing. If you look at it, there's a little bit of a different edge on there, so it works for both. And I've used it even for the video on the podcast. I have used that. And then if you pull it off, you have USB-C. So this really is the Swiss Army of cables. Now, the short one might not do you a lot of good, but I like having it. I carry one on my keychain all the time to make sure, just in case. I always like to be prepared. And then they have the longer one if you're just looking for a standard cable. But so this one, they run retail $29, which is a little steep for a cable. But think about how many cables you have covered on this one. And if it gets you out of a jam just once, I think it's well worth it. And I don't know, while you discuss, I will look up the price on the longer length cable.
Okay. Yeah. And I wanted to thank you again for that cable. It's part of my standard gear. You gave me one a long time ago, the version 1 or whatever. Yes. And it's in my bag that I always take my iPad and stuff around. This one is going to be going on my keychain, like you said, because I think it's indispensable. And the 1-inch cable, don't let that fool you, because the end connectors take up another inch or so on either side. So the
Yes,
total
yes.
length of the device is 3 or 4 inches long when it's unfolded. It just has that flexible cable in the middle that bends.
Yes.
But yeah, it can be difficult to get what you need into your computer close enough. Like,
Yeah.
let's say it's you have a power plug plugged into your wall and you've only got a couple inches. You set your computer on a bunch of books or something, and then set it next to the wall outlet. This is not for your everyday use. This is for emergencies only.
Yeah.
Yes, did you find the price on the longer
Yes,
cable?
it is $39, and it looks like they're just doing pre-orders, and that's a 5-foot cable. So that's a nice long one.
I want one that's got maybe, let's say, 6 inches of braided cable that folds over to 3 inches. That would kind of be an optimal, because it's still very compact. But 5 feet, what? I mean,
yes.
That's crazy.
Someday I'm going to get around to sharing the contents of my backpack with everybody. The what's in my bag. It'll probably take me about 10 hours, because that's how much stuff I have in there. And, I like to be prepared. So I have every kind of different cable and adapter and everything. So I really could, with one of the longer ones of these, go through and take out a lot of those cables that I think I need to have in there. And I have when I've gone on a weekend trip, I have one of these, and I can quickly just plug in what I need to and charge it up and be good. But it's a nice, and if you live in a world where you have devices that are Lightning, USB micro, and USB-C, we've had kind of the splitter cables we've talked about and stuff, but this is a real elegant solution for that.
Yeah, I live in a world of the M1 MacBook now, and so I got to confess, when I go to work, I just take the computer by itself and nothing else.
Yeah.
And I have computers at work, so it's not like it's my only thing. And I have my phone, but between my phone and my resources at work, my lonely little battery conscious laptop sits in my bag, never being used.
Yeah.
So maybe when you upgrade to an M1 Mac one of these days, you can leave a few of those cables behind, because
yes, won't need the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Well, our Ramazon purchase of the week, we love it when you guys go through our Amazon links and buy products that we've talked about and linked to, or just do all of your Amazon shopping, because we get a little tiny kickback. And this week, looking through the anonymous report, somebody purchased the Lulu Home Hummingbird Feeder, 8 fluid ounces flower bird feeder with 3 feeding stations for outdoors.
I know exactly what this is. I think my mom has one.
Yeah.
And I need one in my backyard, so that's cool. But
Yes.
This purchase was not me.
We actually have a couple, and Chelsea's recently been putting out some other, the bird food wheels and stuff. Just bring the birds around and give them a little food this springtime. But yeah, I sent a picture. This is a little different than your traditional hummingbird feeder.
Oh, it is different.
It looks like it mounts to your wall, and then you pull the tray out and put the little 3, and it is 3 feeding stations. So it looks like a soap dish almost.
Yeah.
That you put your hummingbird food liquid into. They've got a picture of it on like the 5th story of a building that you could put it on your window or just out in your backyard somewhere. But people like
Step
hummingbirds.
1, stick sticker to the wall. 2, put the bottom tray onto the sticker and get it stuck. Step 3, place a container on the tray after filled with nectar or water. Step 4, fill the moat with water and finish. And so there's a little moat around it for water, I guess.
Yeah, and that's to keep looks like, reading through the description, to keep the insects away of it, to keep your sugar water clean.
Oh.
And it does have an improved wall sticker, like you mentioned, quality and no leakage, easy to fill and clean. It's got 4 stars on 432 ratings. So all of you not nerdians out there, and Dave, what would you pay?
This is far different than what I thought it was when we first started. I'm going to say this is an $8.89 product. That's what this product costs.
Well, you're a little low, $13.99.
Okay.
I think
It's that
you
extra
forgot
sticky
about
tape.
Yeah, that improved wall sticker. But it does look like it was around $10 via Camel over time, and then it's gone up to 14. So maybe that's well, I guess that was last May through October. It was at $10. So we're pretty close, but demand is up for this new and improved new model of hummingbird feeder. So if this was you that bought it, let us know, and let us know if it's bringing in the hummingbirds.
Well, spring is coming, so more people are buying things like this.
Yes.
But it's difficult to nail the price when the prices are lower, because even if you're off a little bit, the percentage that you're off is huge.
Yes.
On a $300 product, if I say $250,
Yes, exactly. The scale there on that. Well,
totally.
I will forgive you on this one. It is hummingbird feeders are not your expertise, especially
they are not
alternative model ones. Well, with that, I think we're going to wrap up this episode. We've talked a lot of tech at you, and hopefully you learned something about what's going on in the world of tech and how you can get out there and tech better.
Do it or I'll kick you in the...
Mm-hmm.